Welcome back to another episode of the TO Show, man. We are back here with another special guest here. Again, guys, thanks for all the support on the last episode and everyone's comments and on the episode and giving me feedback, man. I'm always here to hear you guys' feedback, and I appreciate all of it. But again, guys, before we dive into things, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. If you guys are watching this on YouTube or Spotify, Apple, wherever you get it, just so you don't miss any new episodes of the TO Show, man, we got a really awesome guest with us today, and we got many more in the works as we're coming up here, man. I'm super excited to start to interview and you guys get to know these amazing people who I've met or got the opportunity to cross paths with as I've been here at UAlbany or in college here. But for further ado here, we got an awesome guest on today's episode. We have, man, one of the greatest wide receivers I have ever seen, probably arguably the greatest receiver that's ever come through UAlbany, possibly ever come through Lackawanna Community College. Man, we have the man, Juwan Green. Juwan Green, welcome to the show, Juwan.
It's a pleasure to be on here, T.O.
And I am so pumped to have you on, and I'm so glad you were able to find some time for us. I know you're a very busy man, now being in the NFL and doing all these great things. But, man, what is it like? First of all, what is it like being kind of, going from college life to now being in the NFL?
I would say what people don't understand is that making it to the league it really is a job. Like, it's not a 9 to 5. It's like a 6 to 8. So it's really a grind. So that's really the biggest transition from college that I failed to realize going into it. Cause I'm like, man, like I wasn't really tired, like mentally from college or nothing like that. Like, yeah, physically from practice and stuff, but the league is like, it's really a grind. Like, it's mentally and physically draining on you. So you really have to just be locked in and really want it.
That's awesome. So if you haven't already mentioned, Juwan's on the Atlanta Falcons. Juwan, talk a little bit about the process as we go through here is like from you kind of our season ended 2019. You had a humongous year, man, one of the greatest, receiving years in UAlbany history. What was it like kind of going from, okay, you had the season, you went to go finish your degree, and then kind of walk through a little bit of the process of, draft day, pro day, and just kind of and also the free agent signing, because you weren't drafted, the free agent signing process and kind of how that all worked out. How was that experience for you?
Well, I would say before the 2019 season, I really didn't even know if I wanted to pursue like football like at the next level. That was kind of like a maybe thing. Like, I didn't have that like set as a goal. So then like the 2019 year went like great. And I'm just like, man, like, I really think I could do this. And I really got a shot. Like, we had NFL scouts coming every week to come see a couple of the players, just like practice and stuff like that. And they were interested in us because we were balling that year. And so the season ended, like you said, like I mentioned, I did my degree. So I'm training for the pro day now. And I was out in Florida, and I keep getting like scouts calling me. And then I got an agent. So they were calling my agent too. So it was just like, all right, like I'm going to make it. Like, I got a good chance. And now I'm just worried about, like, am I getting drafted? So in order for me to get drafted, like, I need to have a pro day really because, like, I already went to FCS school, which is a small school, and the school wasn't known for football. Like, so COVID came, and COVID kind of just shut all that down. So I'm just like, man, like, now I'm behind other schools. Like, now people who went to bigger schools, like FBS schools, are going to get, like, all the attention now because, like, they were still having their pro days and stuff. And, like, guys like us, like, we couldn't even have one because of COVID canceling it. So I had to just go off of really just anything that my agent was saying. Like, I got a great agent. He's been doing it for 30 plus years. Like, so he had connects with all NFL teams, like, everywhere. And he just kept telling me, like, just keep grinding. Like, I got you. Like, I'm going to get you on a team. I'm going to find you a team. And I'm just like, all right, like, just keep believing in him. And so draft day came. That was the first year of my life I ever watched from pick 1 all the way to pick like 250 something. I think what it is. And like, my name didn't get called, but as soon as the draft ended, like, my phone's ringing. I'm just like, all right, like, maybe this is a team calling me. It's my agent calling me. He's like, man, like, we was hoping to get you on to get your name called during the draft, but guess what? like, you're going to Atlanta. I'm just like, for real? Like, I thought it was just like, I thought he was playing with me. And so it was just like a surreal moment because, like, I set the goal at the end of the season that, like, I want to do this. And so, like, the goal was achieved when my agent called me, was like, yeah, I got you a job with the Falcons. All you have to do is go down there and produce, and you'll earn yourself a spot on the team. And that's kind of what I did.
That's awesome. That's awesome. What was it like being a rookie? You know, kind of because you were already at a disadvantage just because you know you're a free agent signing. You know, they'd rather take somebody who they've possibly drafted or maybe they drafted last year higher up than you did, and to even make the team. What was it like being and have to really set yourself apart being a free agent on the Falcons?
So luckily, I went to a team that wasn't even really looking for receivers because we arguably had the best receiving core in the league. Like with Julio Jones, having really Russell Gage, Olamide Zaccheaus, like just those type of guys that they weren't looking for receivers. So they brought in three of us just to like try out just to fill roster spots or practice squad spots up or for training camp. And so I got the training camp. I'm just like, man, like my expectation going to the training camp or what I thought was like, man, all these dudes are about to be huge. Like it's the NFL. Like everybody's big, strong. And I'm just looking at like how I look, like how I matched up against them. I'm just like, man, like I ain't the biggest dude. Like I'm a fast person, so maybe I can use my speed or whatever, and I can run routes and I can catch good. So really, like after that first day of camp, I was just like I ran against a couple of starting corners and stuff like that, and I'm just like, yo, like I can really do this. So after like the first day, my mentality changed. I was like, man, like I'm gonna make my spot. And so like I just did everything that was needed, everything that they asked me to do, like I just did it. And like I know you've like seen me at Auburn, like coach asked me to do something, I'll be like maybe you should ask somebody else. Like this ain't something for me. Like special teams, like I didn't play special teams in Albany unless I was returning the ball.
Yeah.
Atlanta, they need me to go down the field and make a tackle. I ain't tackled somebody since high school. And so like, but that's what they needed me to do. And that's a way for me to get on the team. So you got to do whatever you got, whatever you can just to get a spot on the team. Because that's all you want is just to get your foot in the door.
That's man, that's so true. I've heard a bunch of stories of like we can even use the example Adam Thielen, you know, 3 years in the NFL, like I said, undrafted like you are, kind of went to a relatively no-name school, came out 3 years, balled out on special teams, made his way up, all pro Bowl kind of guy in the NFL. You know, what's your goal here? Of course, you know, to be able to you have smaller goals to start, but what do you think the end goal is, you know, being in the NFL, even though, you know, it stands for not for long, you know, the lifespan is very short. I mean, you've shown a lot of promise and what you've been able to do, but what's your end goal here in the NFL, you think?
I would say the end goal, once all said and done, is to just, you know, you don't have to change the game, but just leave your mark on the game. Like, just have like somebody just remember who you are, like make people want to wear your jersey now because that's what you wore. So I would say just that, like just having kids like look up to you and pretty much like want to be what you are, and hopefully you can guide them to be better than what you were, because that's what you want to do. You want to play for like the generation that's coming up into the game. So like I said, like not necessarily change the game, but leave a mark on the game to where I'm remembered.
I like that. How much did you learn? You know, you could arguably say over the past 10 years, Julio's been the best receiver in the NFL. And you have another great receiver with Calvin Ridley, you know, Alabama, first round draft pick, great route runner, all these other things. How much have you learned from Julio and maybe other guys in the receiving room, you know, just by being in there for the past, you know, over a year now?
Let's see. I would say the greatest thing I learned from them. Well, I was fortunate to be, so they marked me as like an X receiver. So Julio plays X. So I was fortunate to just be like, wherever Julio went, that's where I'm going. So just watch Julio do it, because then I got to do it just as he does. So I try to just mimic like how he is. Like, I'm not as big as Julio, I'm not as strong as Julio, but like I can run like Julio. So it's just like, I'm not going to be him, but I'm trying to be him. So anything that he did, I just try to learn and take from it. And then like, if I had a question for him, he was always willing to give me an answer to help me out. Cause like, I was like his understudy. So I was trying to just be him. And so I would say like he taught me so much about just like reading coverages, like because that wasn't like something that I really studied like in college. Like in college, it's like if a quarterback called a play, like that's just what the play is. We didn't have like routes that determined or that was based off of coverages. Like colleges, if you got a route, you got to run the route. Whereas the NFL is you have like a route and it can have three parts to it. So it's like if the defense is in cover two, you got to run this. If it's in man, you got to run it. If they're in bump, like you got to run it this way. So it's like I had to really learn how to read coverages mid route, and that's one thing that Julio really helped me with. Calvin, he just helped me. Like he's arguably when it's all said and done, he's gonna be arguably one of the greatest route runners ever played this game. Because if you see him run his routes, like it's just like it's mind blowing, and it's even more mind blowing when you see him run it in person. Because it's like how can somebody move that fast without having to break down and run out of a route as smooth as he does? And that's one thing that he's taught me. It's like if you keep just train yourself to run as fast as you can into a route, like I promise you're not going to slip. Like if you keep doing it over and over and over again. So I would say like he's just helped me running routes really, and Julio helped me read coverages.
That's awesome. Have they kind of taken you under your wing as you've been able to kind of grow and kind of just talk to them, get to know them, and be able to show what you got on the field, and they promise maybe they see promise in you down the road, maybe not today, but maybe next year and the years down the road. Is that why you think they kind of took you under their wing a little bit?
Yeah, I think that they did that because of that. Because like we'll do one-on-ones or just against like 11 on 11, like, and I'll make a play or whatever, and they're just like they just look at me like dang, Juwan, like I ain't know you could do that. And I'm just be like I ain't know I could do that. And so it's like we all just shocked at one sort at the same time. So it's just like they're like, they're like, Juwan, like we gonna get you right because like you can be a great receiver in this league. And that's what they just always told me. You can be great. You can be great. And so it's like the more I hear that, like the more I start to believe it, because it's like my heart was in basketball.
Yeah,
I went to college just playing football, just being off of just genetically like talented from my father who played football as well. So it's like I wanted to play basketball, but football was my path. So I never really put in the extra work to like craft my game on football. So I'm really just out there just running like the routes like how it is on paper. Like I'm not putting my own little like twist on routes and stuff like that. Like like when I got here to the league, like they're telling me like, yo, like try this in your route. I'm just like, man, like I ain't comfortable doing it. And like I'm telling you, like it's gonna work. Just try it, because like that's what we do. And I'm just like, all right, well if y'all do it, like I'm gonna listen to what y'all do because I'm trying to get to where y'all at.
Exactly.
And so they kind of just took me under the wing because they're like, well, like you can be great.
You talked a little bit about your path, how it's taking you to football. Let's talk a little bit about yourself, Juwan. Your path to the NFL now, but more importantly, let's talk a little bit about your path to UAlbany, and then we can talk a little bit there. So what was your kind of path to UAlbany? I don't think a lot of people know, but just for the viewer's sake, what was your path to UAlbany?
Well, my path to Albany, never had any hopes or dreams to go to college for football. So high school, I played all 4 years of basketball. I played AAU in the fall season when football was going along. So my senior year, I wasn't playing AAU. So I was like, I don't want to just sit around at home. So I might as well just play football because like it's in that season. I can still play basketball and do whatever I want. So I hit up the coach. I'm like, hey, when's camp? And he told me the date. And so I went out there and he was like, man, I've been wanting you out here for the last 3 years. Like, because he knew who my dad was. Me and my dad went to the same high school. And so he's like, I've been trying to get you out here. I'm just like, all right, man. Like, I don't really want to do this for real, but I'm just out here just so I have something to do. And so I came out there first day of practice, first day of camp, and I ran like a fade. And I outran the quarterback. And they're like, well, like the quarterback's never been outran because he had a strong arm. And they're like, yo, like, we can do something with this dude. So that came. So I was an all-state receiver, and I only played my senior year of high school of football. And like I said, like I didn't want to go to college for football. But at the end of that senior year, college coaches started coming in like, yo, like we're interested in you in football. And I had more interest in football than from football coaches than basketball coaches. Just because like of my like size, like I think I was 6 foot. I was a 6 foot senior, like 165-pound like basketball player. Like I was small.
Yeah.
Like I didn't play like in 6 foot. That's like a point guard size. And in basketball in high school, though, I played like a 2 to 3 to 4 or 5 if they needed me to because I could jump. And so like I was like, you know what? I want to make it to the pros somewhere. So I'm like, you have a higher chance of making it to the NFL than you do the NBA. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna just go take the football route. So I didn't get any Division I offers from football out of high school. So I went to junior college. So I went to Lackawanna. As you can see, like it's on my shirt. I went to Lackawanna College in PA, Scranton, PA. And I was one of two true freshmen to ever start as a freshman, like in that school. Like that's just something that wasn't happening because it was a dominant school. They always have like 4 stars or 3 stars, like people who have like rankings come in there and they come in and start. But everybody who's a freshman gets redshirted though. So I was fortunate, like things just played in my favor. Like somebody got hurt above me or somebody like did something they shouldn't have did and they get punished by like losing their spot. And so I took the spot and I was the guy who always kept my nose clean. Like I wasn't in trouble or anything like that. I did my schoolwork, all that. So I did everything right. And I just held on to the starting spot for 2 years. And then fortunately, like I started getting interest from Division I schools. And that's how I kind of took on Albany. Like Albany wasn't my best offer at the time. If you're basing off a record, it was actually my worst school at the time. But I had 2 teammates that had went there the year before. And I was like, you know, I can be there with them again and like link up with them. I said, and like this is a team who could actually like need me for real and actually give me the ball because like they were 3-8 the 2 years before that.
Yep.
So I'm like, you know, I have a great shot at coming in and just like playing immediately. And that's what I wanted to do. I didn't want to sit around. I wanted to come in. I wanted to play immediately. And that's what they like. That's like what they promised me. And they kept their word on their promise. And that's how I ended up at Albany.
Do you think by playing right away and kind of took your ego out of it a little bit of like, oh, I want to go like the FBS school or the big time school? Do you think that benefit you more of your path to the NFL than actually trying to, hey, I'm going to go big time school. Maybe I'll sit out a year, but you know, I'll have less film or whatever the case is. Do you think that's kind of helped you to your path to the NFL by going to a smaller school?
I would say that helped me a lot because like I wasn't even really worried about the big school or the little school because like I didn't want to play football for real. Like I was still in that mode where like I didn't really want to do this for real, but like I'm gonna do it because I don't quit. Like when I start something, I'm gonna finish it until I can't no more.
Yeah.
And so I had free scholarship money just on the table. It's not like I wasn't just gonna take one of those offers because I didn't want to pay for school. I didn't want my parents to pay for school. And so I was like, you know what? I'm gonna just go here. I'm just do what I gotta do, and hopefully, like it works out for the best. And it did. Like, and so like I didn't have an ego, like you said. Like I didn't have an ego coming into Albany because like I'm still trying to learn like how to play this game for real.
Yeah.
Learn like I'm just doing it all just based off of genetics or just listen to what my dad's telling me throughout the years. And so like I really had to like learn how to run routes and stuff like when I got to Albany and like catch the ball certain ways and stuff like that. But I mean like for the most part all that stuff was like from genetics. So so like I said, like I didn't have an ego coming into that. So it was easy to learn.
Yeah, that's true. And I mean, I guess it's also nice when you're actually good at something and when you not necessarily don't try, but you're just so like you're just learning it. Like you're probably still now, even in the NFL, kind of relatively learning it just because you've only been playing the receiver for what now, like 6 years, when everyone else has been kind of starting ever since they were younger.
Everybody's doing it their whole life. Like I've only been playing this for 5 years, so I'm still learning.
That's crazy. Yeah, let's circle right back into the Falcons. What has it been like? Kind of Dan Quinn got fired this past offseason and you're having a new coach with Arthur Smith. What has it been like you learned a playbook 1 year and it probably was even tougher because you guys were all kind of remote-ish. All your meetings were remote with COVID and stuff. What is it now kind of getting a new playbook in the NFL? What's the difference between college and the NFL of the playbook? I understand you talked a little bit about the start of reading coverages and this is how you got to run different routes. But what would you take away the main things from an NFL playbook to a college playbook?
I would say in the NFL playbook, we tag a lot of the times you get tagged. So that's what makes it easier to learn more than anything. Like certain plays is going to be specific. It's going to specifically have a word in the play just for your. That's what I would say. And like they make time. Like the coaches make time. Like college coaches, they make time for you to learn. But it's like when it's like 6 o'clock or whatever, it's like the coaches are gone. Like coaches leave the building and they go home to their families or whatever. Like most of our coaches here, like they have families, but like our coaches' families are like in another state, so they're just down here because like this is their job. So they'll come down here and come to their apartment, whatever. So it's like they have nothing but time. So if you have a question about anything, like they're always willing to answer their phone for you because most of them be by themselves and they don't do nothing but study football too, just like we are. So it's like when we get a new playbook, like the head coach or the not the head coach, but like the position coaches get a new playbook too that they have to learn. So they're learning just like we are.
Did you guys get like did Coach Smith, did he bring in a lot of new guys, or is it pretty much just close to what, you know, Dan Quinn had there at a couple positions, or is it kind of just he kind of brought in whoever he wanted to bring in?
No, we still have the same people. Well, you know, like every coach is gonna like just with free agency happening, like everybody, like somebody's gonna be coming in new, and some people are gonna leave just because of free. That's just how free agency is. And that's how the NFL works.
Yeah.
So I mean, like for the most part, like we still have like the same people.
What's it like kind of catching passes from, you know, possibly, in my opinion, possibly a Hall of Famer, Matt Ryan, and kind of learning from him and seeing what he does on the field and how he studies and goes about his business. How cool or how kind of surreal has that been? Because, I mean, depending on how much football you've watched, you probably have watched him for a couple of years, saw him have the MVP, Super Bowl, all these other things. How cool has it been to he's your teammate now, you know, kind of look up to him a little bit, be like, man, that guy's kind of cool, and then actually be a teammate with him now?
I mean, like my first day in the building, like I walked in and seen Matt Ryan. I'm just like I wasn't like, oh man, like oh my god, like, that's Matt Ryan. I just walked in, I was like, okay, that's what Matt looks like in person. Kept it moving, like, it's not like it's like I'm so like I said, the basketball mindset. Like if I seen like LeBron, if I saw LeBron, I'm like,
Yeah.
oh dang, like that's LeBron. LeBron, like what's LeBron? Like whereas when I saw Matt, I was like, okay, like that's Matt Ryan. So he looks like all right. Like and I was just like, all right, I gotta set the goal. Like I'm trying to catch passes from him. In order for me to catch passes from him, I gotta move in the depth chart. And the only way to do that is to just be the best you can be. And hopefully like the coaches will notice that and you just like know what you need to know or do what you need to do and get moved up. Because Matt throws to like 5 people only. And it's the 5 people that he knows is going to be catching passes during the season.
Yeah.
So my goal is to just be one of them 5 guys.
That's
and
true.
like, of course, I'll take like I've caught passes from him. Like, of course, like I've been on the team for over a year now, and like he's comfortable with me because like he knows who I am and he's seen what I could do. Like last year, just being on practice squad, so it's just like I would say like mine and Matt's relationship like isn't like the closest, but it's like he knows like if he needs like a receiver, like he'll just be like, all right, Juwan, like come here, like he's confident in calling my name to get up in there in the huddle.
That's cool. What was it like being on a practice squad for a year? You know, it's a little bit different than being on an actual, you know, active roster. What was it like, you know, for anybody who might not know, what is it like kind of being on the practice squad for an entire year when technically you know that, hey man, my day could be I could have it. It's kind of a little bit like the minor leagues, but I can get called up any day, you know, to the active roster. You know, what was it like having that mindset to kind of grind every day, even though you say, hey, I have no shot at playing this week?
Mm-hmm. Like you said, like you never know. Like you could wake up on, like you can go to sleep on Saturday knowing that you're not about to play, but then Sunday morning come it's like, all right, like Juwan, like, we need you for this game. Like you got to get dressed, and that's just like, all right, like, and you got to be ready. So it's just like, as a practice squad player, even though you're not playing in the game, you still have to be prepared to play in the game. Like all the plays that's coming in for the week prior to the game, like you got to know all those plays, like because at any time, like anybody can get hurt. That's just how the game is. It's a physical game.
Yeah.
And injuries occur. So if a player can't play, like they'll just put somebody up in their spot. And if it's you, like you got to come out there and the coaches have to trust you to know that you know what you're doing. So like, and that's how you that's how you like get your foot in the door and keep it in the door. It's just by little like opportunities like that, just knowing what you need to do. So really, like I said, like it's a grind. Like practice squad, like you have to run scout team or practice squad. The most reps out of anybody. You got to play scout team. If they need somebody on defense, scout team, like you got to do that too. And then when it's time for offense to go, like you got to be prepared to get in the huddle like with Matt. Like if Matt calls a play and you don't know what you're doing, like he will not hesitate to get you out of there, and he won't put you back. Like he won't request your name again. Like that's just the business of the game. Like this is what it is. So like it's tough. It's tougher than I wouldn't say it's tougher than being on the 53, but you have more of a responsibility than being on the 53 when you're in practice squad.
Yeah, I mean, seems like there's not necessarily as much pressure, but you have to be ready every second, every play of every practice, and really any second of any day, just because you never know when your name's gonna get called up. That's so cool. What was it like? What was it kind of taking a little bit of a day in the life of Juwan during the off season, kind of the difference? Because in college, our stuff is a lot, we have mandatory stuff, and I understand you guys have OTAs and mini camp and stuff like that. But what is it kind of like, the difference between a little off season of kind of college compared to the NFL?
I would say my off seasons from college and NFL would be, for me personally, mine were the same. Like when the season ended, like I was done. I shut it down. I didn't do football for like 2 months. Like I didn't catch a pass. I didn't open a playbook, like nothing for like 2 months. And then like getting into like OTAs, like we're like a month out from OTAs, and I'm like, all right, now I got locked back in. Then I picked up my playbook. Then I like started training and working out again, like running routes, just getting my feet and hand-eye coordination ready just to catch passes for OTAs. And then OTAs ended. Then if you want to take like a vacation, like that's what people do. They'll take a trip. Like I went to Puerto Rico for a week. Like that was nice. Like it's good to get away and like get off your feet and just get away from. Because then like when you come back, it's like me. Like I came back and like now we're about to start camp in 7 days. So it's like, all right, now you really got to start grinding for it because now it's about to get real. So off season is, I would say, there's more. I don't even know how to word
freedom. Would you say freedom?
Yeah, there's more freedom. Yeah, there's more freedom when you're in the NFL than college for off season, because like the only thing that's mandatory for us, well, it wasn't even really mandatory. Only thing that was mandatory for OTAs was mandatory minicamp, and that was only 3 days long. But OTAs is optional. Like, if you want to come, like you can come. If you don't come, like then you just don't come.
Yeah.
But me, like I was there every day because like I'm undrafted free agent rookie last year, so I'm trying to like just show the coaches like that I'm dedicated to this. Like I want to be good and I want to play. So it's just like, it's on you. If you want to show the coaches that you mean it, like if you're being for real, like if you're not a vet, then you should probably go to OTAs.
Yeah. Was your guys' team the vibe of, because I know there's a little bit of buzz in the NFL about different teams taking different approaches to OTAs, where some people were kind of, hey, let's all just not show up, or somewhere, hey, let's all show up and then have a little, maybe a lighter practice or a lighter do lighter things. I understand this is your first OTAs. Technically, it's last year they got canceled, right? So what was your guys' at the Falcons? What were your guys' approach to OTAs?
Ours was pretty much like it's mandatory, but it's not mandatory. So it's like it's like for me, guys like me, it's like it's mandatory.
100%.
If I was a 9-year NFL vet, like it ain't mandatory to you because like, well, you don't really need to be there. But like for us, like one of my receivers, like one of my teammates, OZ, he was like, here's your mentality. He said, if Matt's in his 13th year and he's still showing up to OTAs, you should probably come to OTAs too. So and I was like, you know what? Like, you're right. Like, if Matt's here, I'm there. Like, regardless of the fact, because he's been doing it for 13 years. Like, he's not learning. He's not trying to read new coverages. Like, all the coverages is still the same to him that he's seen for 13 years. Like,
yeah, that's true.
Like, Matt's mentality is just like, and when it's time to work, like, it's time to work. And that's all it is. So it's like, if it's time to work, you better be out there and better be working.
It's off the field. Is he a pretty relaxed guy? Seems like a kind of cool guy. He seems like once it's down to business, man, let's get her done. You know, I'm gonna work my ass off to do whatever it takes. But you know, is he a kind of, I don't know if you've hung out with him or heard stories about him off the field. Seems like a pretty cool guy off the field.
Yeah, man, it's cool. He's cool off the field. He's cool on the field. Like if you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
If you do what you're supposed to be doing, like he's cool. But if you don't know what you're doing, like he's gonna be the team leader. And he's gonna let you know that you don't know what you're doing and that you need to like pick it up. And you can just take however he says, however you want it. But like he doesn't mean no harm by it. He's just letting you know like that it's blatant that you don't know what you're doing and you're not being a pro. Like you have to be a pro.
Exactly.
And as a pro, like your job is to, if you play receiver, your job is to know everything a receiver. Matt's job, he's a quarterback. He's supposed to know everything from the receivers, the running backs, the linemen, like everything. So like that's the least you can do for him is like to just know your position because he already has to know everybody else's.
That's awesome.
But he's a cool dude though.
Sounds like it. He seems like it. I always laugh at. Sometimes they have him mic'd up, and you can tell if somebody doesn't know what they're doing. He's just screaming at them. It seems.
Oh yeah.
It's. I can see that at a consistent basis. But Juwan, realistically, and if you look, let's just be real with yourself. And it seems like last year you were really close to getting that call because we had a couple injuries with Calvin and Julio. You know, with Julio gone this year, how do you feel like your chances are, you know, being in your second year to, you know, make that 53-man roster?
I would say my chances are like they're immense. Like it's just like Julio's gone, like you said. We didn't sign another like superstar like to replace him. It's like the opportunity's there. It's just like it all just comes down to like how bad do I want it? Like I might not come in and like it's not like I'm saying like I'm coming in to take the starting spot, but I can come in and take like the fifth or fourth receiver spot. Like I can do that. So like I said, like it's just how bad do I want it? So that's just all it is.
It seems like they're, you know, Albany, we play a lot of, you know, three receivers kind of play the whole game. It seems like at the Falcons, you guys seem to rotate. Do you like how that works where you're kind of rotating in and out and you're kind of keeping your legs kind of fresh throughout the game rather than kind of just, you might maybe get a couple more balls here and there just because you're on the field every play. But what are your thought process kind of coming from kind of both systems where one you're rotating and another where you're playing the entire game?
I would say I like how it is in the NFL because as you said, like your legs they just keep you fresh. Like whereas like in college, like if you ran like a go ball, you got to run all the way back to the huddle, and you could potentially run another go ball. Whereas here in the league, like you run a go ball 9 times out of 10, that's already a sub coming in for you. You don't have to come run all the way 60 yards back down the field to the huddle. Like, and they'll just keep rotating you. And like your rotation could be like, all right, you got 2 plays. All right, then you're coming out for a play. And then you go back in for like another play or whatever, or another 2 plays. Like it's not like you're going to be out there for like 8 straight plays on like a drive. Like how in college, like if you got like a 9-play drive, I know there was one, like we played like Rhode Island, like my senior year, we had like a 13-play drive. Like, we out there for all 13 plays. Like in the NFL, like it would never be that. You would never be out there for all 13 plays. So I like how they do the rotations here.
I guess so too. It's probably a lot easier to rotate guys when you actually, one, you have guys know what they're doing, but 2, that, you know, all your guys' skill levels are probably, you know, of course you got Julio and Calvin who are kind of are all pro, you know, Pro Bowl guys, but I mean, still, you got to be all relatively have the same level of skill level to be able to kind of, you know, play in each position. And also you got to know what you're doing because, you know, one, Matt's holding you accountable, but you know that, hey, if I don't know the playbook, I'm not going to get in the game.
And if you don't know the playbook, you have a high chance of not being on the team.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. And that's tough. And do you feel like kind of that push of not being on the plane, being able to play football or not being able to kind of do what you love kind of pushes you a little bit more here now in the NFL than kind of in college where you you kind of had a little bit of a leeway?
I would say like when you come to like everybody like who comes from the league, like in college or high school, like you were the man. Like that's just how it always is. Like in high school, like you were the man. College, you were the man. That's why you made it to the NFL, because you were the man.
Exactly.
But when you get to the NFL, it's like you're not the man no more. Like you got men that's already playing it 10 years before you even step foot in here that are the man, and they still doing it like probably better than you'll ever do it. That's just how the league is. So I mean, like I would say coming in and like wanting to be the man is just like it's not like a good mindset to have. Like you don't want to be like you want to be the man, but you don't want to be like have that as your mindset. Like I want to be the man, because then if you do that, like you want to be selfish. So it's like if you come into the league with a selfish attitude, like it's gonna like somewhere down the road, like it's gonna haunt, like it's gonna backfire on you, because somebody's gonna come in and they're gonna have that same mindset, and they're gonna be like, and they're just gonna take your spot because they're gonna want a team player and not like someone who's just all about me, 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 me. So it's like you don't want to come in the league saying like I want to be the man. Nah, you want to learn and then become the man first, and then become the man second. I mean, so I would say the mindset to have is like just be a sponge. Like that's what everybody says. Like just be a sponge. Just soak up knowledge from everybody. Like me, I came in. Like I didn't even like go to Julio or Calvin. Like, I went to like Russell Gage. Like Russell Gage was our third receiver last year. Like not too many people know what Russell Gage is.
Yeah.
It's like I went to Russ. I was like, yo, Russ, like how do you do what you do? Because like you're you get overlooked because you're behind Julio and Calvin Ridley. But Russ is a great receiver. Like that man does things that like other team starting receivers can't even do. Like he has arguably like one of the best like release games I've ever seen. Like, and like I haven't seen many because like I never really like studied the game of football, but like just seeing it in person, like I'm just like, man, like this dude is like, it's very hard for him to get like jammed up on the line. Like I've never seen that happen to Russ. And I'm just like I said, like I go to Russ, I'm like, yo, Russ, like teach me that. Like just real quick, like 2 minutes, he'll teach me something. And then I'll go to like OZ. OZ was our fourth receiver last year. I'm like, yeah. OZ, like you know everything. Like, and he's a special teams demon. OZ is. I'm like, yo, OZ, like I want to be like you, like, because he was an undrafted free agent. And he came in his rookie year, and he has the longest touchdown scored in Atlanta Falcons history, receiving touchdown scored with a 97-yard pass. And he did that as a rookie. That's just like, all right. So he had like his opportunity, he made the most of it. And so I'm like, yo, OZ, like teach me how to just like how do you study? How do you learn? Like how do you do what you do? And then I'll go to like Calvin and be like, yo, Calvin, like teach me how to do this, or Julio, like teach me how to do this. Like it's just like it's levels to it. Like not all the time it's gonna be like the number one dude is gonna like take time out of his day to like come to like an undrafted free agent who's on practice squad all the time. Like Julio was that dude though. Like Julio came to me, or if I had a question, like I said, like if I had a question for Julio, like Julio was willing to like give me an answer, like no matter what it was. He always give me an answer.
That's awesome.
But like I know for most teams, like it's not like that. Like their number one receiver will not talk to like an undrafted free agent. That's just how it is. And 9 times out of 10, like those teams aren't really like the best teams in the league, because like not everybody's being a team player.
That's awesome. I think that's awesome. Or the culture that's kind of been built, and whether it's been in that receiver room or it's the culture prior to that of, everyone kind of teaching, helping each other out, no matter, whatever it is. Because again, they might take your spot, but also you might also give them an opportunity somewhere else that might not be on the Falcons too, as well. And you're just helping your brother out, being kind of keeping the live brotherhood, the livelihood, kind of keep her going, keep the dream alive. I think that's awesome. And I think you kind of see it in college sometimes, not all the time, but I think at UAlbany, we're kind of building something to where, that's every single day of, and I think you, Joel, and JR and people like that kind of set the standard to say, hey, whether you're the number one receiver, you're the number 9th, 8th, 9th receiver, whatever, however many receivers we have during that year, hey, you're gonna be held to the same standard as the number one guy, and we're gonna make sure that we all do it, the right way, and nobody's bigger than the team, right? I mean, make sure that the 9th guy is doing, coaching him. The one guy might be coaching the ninth guy up, but the ninth guy can also coach the one guy up as well if they see something and something like that. And I think something like that is only beneficial for your team. It's not. I don't think it's going to hurt. In my opinion, iron sharpens iron, and I think that's awesome.
All right.
Yeah. So what else do you think? So if you were put if somebody who is coming out after this NFL season, is a smaller school guy, what advice would you give them? If they were a potential NFL prospect, was there anything that you kind of went through that, hey, maybe this would have helped or something like that? Because you got in a great position that they're at right now. Is there any advice or pros or anything you say, hey, I wish I could do that over again?
I would say what I wish I could do over again is just the time I took studying the playbook as a rookie. Like I wasn't like, because I knew like I got the practice squad, but it's like I had the role of the next man up. Like if somebody got hurt or got a positive COVID test and couldn't play in the game, like I was getting brought up. And like unfortunately, I took an injury last year, and that kind of like just set me down. Like people were getting hurt like above me, like, and I'm sitting in the stands like, dang, like I'm supposed to be playing, but I can't because I got hurt.
Yep.
I would say like injuries are gonna come, but I would say like just study the playbook really. Like if you get an opportunity, like do everything in your power to keep that opportunity, like just keep your foot in the door, because like once that door is shut, like it's hard for it to open back up.
Yeah, once you're off a team, it's hard to get right back on, especially when you have no game experience, you're an undrafted rookie or undrafted guy. But last thing here, Juwan, going to a smaller school as we wrap things up here, is going to a smaller school and you being in the NFL and going against starting corners, what's been the competition difference been like from you as a receiver going against DBs in the CAA or even in the FCS? Has you felt like there's a big difference or, a small difference or just speak your mind on what you think on the competition level that you're facing every day and the competition that we faced every day?
Well, I would say like really the main difference between FCS and FBS is really just like the offense and defense alignment and sizes. Like that's really the only thing that differentiates like those two conferences or those two divisions. Like receivers, corner, like skill players are the same size like throughout the division. Some are just faster than others, and that's it. Like corners that I go against now, like they'll come from like AJ Terrell. Like, he came from Clemson. Like yep. AJ's like 6'2", 6'1", like 195-pound corner. Like he's just a bigger dude, but like that's really all it is. Like it's just the size. Like everybody can play the same. Like everybody can play everybody's the same game or whatever. It's just the size. It's really just how you look. Like it's not really a difference in like it's not a big difference in like the speed of a person. It's just what they look, their physical nature, just how they appear to you.
So they're getting drafted based on more potential, just because somebody's bigger. Like I said, Julio, or like even somebody who's just has it and has been competing technically at those highest levels at a consistent basis. Would that be your take from the difference?
Yeah, that's my take. That's what people get drafted upon. Like, so if you take like my season, so like the year I came out, so
19,
the 2020 draft or whatever.
Yeah,
so
2020 draft. Yeah,
there was 3 people throughout the whole nation that had the same or better numbers than I did, and 2 of those people went to the same school, but only one could declare, and that was Justin Jefferson. Like,
yeah,
Justin Jefferson had he finished with 18 touchdowns on the season.
Something crazy, dude.
1,400 yards. I finished with 1,400 yards on the season and 17 touchdowns, but I went to a smaller school. And Justin Jefferson was a first-round pick. So it's like, that's really the difference between that is just like your school name. So it's like you took my numbers and put it on anybody else who went to a Division I school, like Justin Jefferson, like you see, like hands down, you're getting drafted in the first or second round, like easily. So that's kind of what like the setback was. Like it just depends on the school you go to.
Yeah.
But like I said, like if you can play, like
they'll find you.
If you can play, they'll find you, and you'll get an opportunity. Like me, like I got an opportunity. Like it wasn't the biggest one, but like it was one that I took, and I got my foot in the door, and I'm running with it right now.
Well, again, guys, we wrap things up here. Again, there's not always one way to certain things. It's not Division I, big school bus. Juwan's path is definitely a unique one. But again, there's many ways to get to that end goal, that one path, if that's what your ending goal is. So again, keep believing in yourself, continue to get better. Again, Juwan's still learning and doing these things. And again, everyone peaks at different times. You know, Juwan, it was a basketball, but you know, he's based on genetics and all these other things. He's just a lot more athletic, but he's still learning and he's getting better and better every day. And we saw that while I was here at UAlbany, you know, from his first year kind of. And then I remember, Juwan, I think you remember the specific play, but the play where you kind of, at the Stony Brook game, where you kind of tipped it to yourself and scored. In my opinion, that was the turning point for you, for your confidence level to be able, the player that everyone knew that you were capable of being. But again, Juwan, thanks for coming on, man. I know you're a busy guy. And again, we're all here supporting you in the NFL and we're cheering for you, man. I'm hoping one game this season, I'll be able to see a first 53-man roster made it. Second thing is we're going to hopefully tune into a couple games and see you make some big plays, some big touchdowns, see your first touchdown catch, couple catches, and hoping you have a big year, man. We're all here at UAlbany, at least all the receivers, man. We're all jacked about you and excited to see how you do, man.
Appreciate it, man. Always love the support.
All right, man. All right. Good luck this season. And again, guys, again, thanks for Juwan for coming on. And guys, if you don't already, make sure if you like more of this content, feel free to like, subscribe, man. And again, Juwan, thanks for coming on the show, and we'll talk to you soon, and good luck this season, man.
All right, man. Anytime. Thank you.
All right. Peace.